What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Smile Today podcast, the number one podcast in the world to make you smile today. I hope you're having an amazing and blessed day so far. And if you're reading the title of this episode, it's all about overthinking. And I would be honest, probably 10 minutes ago, I was overthinking a lot. And overthinking isn't a bad thing. I want to tell you that first. What is your heart made to do? It's made to beat. What is your lungs meant to do? It's meant to help you breathe. Well, your mind is made to think, right? So it's not a bad thing, but I think the problem is we start to overthink the bad stuff. And when that bad stuff lingers, it starts to steer us away from hope, steer us away from joy, steer us away from what helps us live a happier life. So I want to start with a quick story real quick because as you guys know, if you listen to my story, I struggled with overthinking for a long time. Every day I fell in the same constant state. It was like I'd wake up and I was like, boom, I would overthink. And it was like constant. It was just all the time. I'm telling you, 22 hours of the day I would overthink. The only 2 hours I wouldn't overthink was when I was exercising or at the gym. Because that was my way of, putting it into something. I was like, okay, I could try to get away from this and escape it for a little bit, but then I'd just start overthinking again. And it was all negative. It was all worst case scenario, and it got to a point where I was like pretty much just I didn't want to wake up anymore. I just didn't really want to be here because it was just so hard living each day in that trap. So if you're in that cycle and you're in that trap, I am here to help you, and I'm going to give you 6 practical tips that you could start today that can help you with your overthinking because they help me so much. This episode is brought to you by Talkspace. If you ever thought about therapy but didn't know where to start, Talkspace makes it simple. It's online, so you can talk to a licensed therapist from anywhere. No commuting, no wait rooms, no long wait lists. And the best part, for most people, it's covered by insurance. Sometimes the copay is even $0. That means real help, flexible scheduling, and care that actually fits your lifestyle. I know how hard and heavy life can feel when you try to carry it alone. You don't have to anymore. Use the link in the description to get started today because your mental health matters. Now, let's get right back into the episode. So let's get right into it. The first one that you're going to do is you're going to become aware. And you already are aware for the fact that you're clicking on this video and you're seeking help for this overthinking. So becoming aware is super important because, okay, we're overthinking. We know that these thoughts aren't good thoughts. Because think about it. If you were overthinking and you were like, man, I'm so grateful. Man, I'm so blessed that I have every single day and that I got a roof over my head. I got that running water. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you wouldn't have a problem. You're overthinking the good things, right? But you're likely overthinking the bad things. So becoming self-aware is the first step. And what I like to do is I like to write them down in a journal. Okay? So I'll have a journal or even just a piece of paper and I'll just start writing down what I'm thinking about. And, I'll write it down and I'll take my time. Just take your time. You can even type it out on a computer if you want. And when you're done, I want you to look at it and be like, okay, I can't read the label if I'm inside the jar. So I'm going to get outside the jar and I'm going to look at it and I'm going to be like, what advice would I give to someone that's struggling with this right now? Okay? So looking at it from the outside perspective, because you're so good at encouraging someone else, you're so good at pouring love into other people, but sometimes we skip out on ourselves. And I did this for so long. I wouldn't give myself the same love and just comfort that I would give someone else. And that's not fair to us because the person you spend the most time with in your life is yourself. So you got to make it a loving place to be. So what I do, again, I'll write it down and I look at it from the outside perspective and I say, is this realistic? Is this actually, do you think this is actually going to happen? Because overthinking puts us in the future, right? So you're worried about a future and you're like, okay, is this realistic? Or is this just a worst case scenario? Because 99% of what we worry about doesn't actually happen. It's just stuff that our brain, which was hardwired to make us and protect us, is telling us, right? Our brain from thousands of years ago was like, in a constant state of negativity because there's always like, what's going to happen? How can I protect myself? Because you lived in the wilderness. But we don't have that anymore. I got a roof over my head, right? And I talk about all the luxuries that we have in our lives. We are blessed and you are safe. So when we look at these things, we're like, okay, you know what? This one, where did this even come from? Oh, this one, this could happen, but probably not, right? And we're just going to be able to analyze it and be like, okay, this is my pattern. Where this thought started and where it ended up is not where it's supposed to be, right? So we could start to simplify this and kind of lay it out in black and white and be like, you know what? I'm overthinking this and I shouldn't at all. This isn't bad at all. So that helped me a lot. The second thing is stop trying to be perfect. We are beautifully imperfect people, and I love it. And I love it. And I want to tell you something. I want to remind you and encourage you that nobody has it figured out. Nobody has it figured out. I certainly don't have it figured out. I'm smiling and positive a lot, and I am genuinely such a happy person, but I don't got it all figured out. I still live with my parents. My parents pay for my dinner and my groceries. Like, come on. And I always talk about how we kind of live in this highlight reel like stage and phase of life where we just look at everybody else and we're like, man, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I'm not busy enough. Maybe I'm not working hard enough. And realistically, they're just trying to figure it out too. Seriously, if you sat down in a room with that person that you admire, they'd probably be like, you know what? I'm wrestling with this thing right now and I don't know what to do. And that's the truth. Like, we don't have to be perfect. Nobody's got it all figured out. And I actually love that so much. I think this is just so encouraging. So once we realize that we're not perfect, I will tell you that we have to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. If a problem can be solved, then there's no need to worry. And if it can't be solved, then there's no point in worrying either. Do you see what I'm saying? There's so much that we try to control, so many outside variables that we try to control that we let rule our day. Like, for example, the sun's not out today. And I love when the sun's out. I love the sun. And it's not out today, but I can't control that. But I'm not going to let that dictate my mood and dictate the way that I'm looking at my life today. Someone cut me off like bad earlier, like almost caused an accident. And I'm thinking, wait, I can't control that. Right? There's just so many things in our day that we can't control. So focus on what you can control, only the things that you can control, and let go of what you can't. And truly, the things that you could really control are your actions and your response towards a situation or just towards your day to day. Okay? So once we're able to realize, okay, we can't focus, we could only focus on what we can control. Okay, now we're going to shift to gratitude and perspective, right? I realized today, I don't know why I just thought of this. I have an abundance of water. And I was thinking about it when I was brushing my teeth, when I was using the bathroom, when I was showering, when I was drinking water. I was like, wow, I have running water and I have an abundance of this. How many people don't have that, right? There are so many people that don't have access to clean water, let alone water itself. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm so grateful, right? Gratitude changes your attitude. I could list a million things that I'm grateful for right now. And should I start? Oh my goodness. I got clothes on my body. Hold on. Let's start from the beginning. God woke us up today. That's something to be grateful for. I woke up in a bed. I woke up with blankets on me. I woke up with a light next to me that was shining. I woke up with air conditioning. I woke up with running water. I woke up with, I could just keep going. Truly, when you look around yourself, literally right now, look around, name 3 things you could be grateful for. Because gratitude truly humbles you and changes your attitude. You're like, man, I'm blessed, And that always breaks my overthinking pattern. And I just love that so much. The 5th thing is to have a plan, okay? I was just overthinking right now. I was just thinking about some work stuff. And instead of getting caught in this analysis paralysis, I know that the best thing for me to do is to ditch my phone and go for a walk, right? That's what works for me. But when you are overthinking, have a plan. When I first started, I would overthink. I told you 22 hours of the day. But when I first started, implementing these things, I would be like, okay, every time I overthink, I do 10 push-ups because I was overthinking so much. Every hour I was doing push-ups and it truly helped me. So remember, when you're overthinking, change your physical state and have a plan for what's going to help you. You'll know the things over time. Again, it could be a walk. It could be a run. It could be journaling, right? Like journaling is something that always helps me, right? There's just so many small things you could do. You could cook. I like to clean my room when I'm overthinking because okay, at least I have a clean space. So it starts to clear my thoughts. So there's just like little things you could do like that. And the last thing is prayer. Oh my goodness, prayer was so important to me. Not when I first started, because if you were listening to my story the other day, my relationship grew very slowly with Jesus. But as I became a more seasoned Christian, as I became someone who was less lukewarm and more, really embracing my faith, I was like, wow, God is really in here with me. And most of the time, I just pour out my heart to God. I'm like, God, you know what? You've provided all these things for me, and I'm blessed. Like, I'm just so beyond grateful to just sit here and experience these blessings, because it's so many times I kind of just get caught up in this, like, maybe I should be doing more. Maybe I'm not doing good enough. And I'm like, you know what? God, you did enough for me on that cross. And you put me in this position today because you called me to this position. And I know that you've provided up to here, and I know you're going to continue to provide for me. And that's just so grounding in prayer. So guys, pray. And of course, I want to close out with a Bible story. So in the Gospel of Luke, there's this really great story about Martha and Mary. And they are sisters of Lazarus. Lazarus is the one that Jesus rose from the dead, which is crazy, by the way. So the disciples and Jesus come in after a long day. I'm telling you, I underestimated how much those disciples walked with Jesus. They were walking everywhere, like like miles and miles and miles, like pretty much like a marathon. And they go to this house, and that's where Mary and Martha are. And the disciples are just like chilling out, and Jesus starts talking, and Martha and Mary are supposed to, serve the disciples. They're tired. They've had a long day. And Martha is scrambling around trying to find all these things and make sure that everybody's fed. And she's like, wait, where's Mary? And Mary is just sitting there, just absolutely absorbed in Jesus. Like, it's just so, me too, I'd be mesmerized. If the Messiah was sitting right in front of me, I'd be like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. You are so awesome. And so imagine Mary just kind of like, just staring at Jesus, just listening to every word. That's the coolest thing ever. And Martha's getting upset. She's getting angry. She's like, like, Mary, like, you're supposed to help me. Now I'm serving all these people. I don't know what to do. And she's like running a million miles per hour. And she's like, I'm just so frustrated. And finally she says something, and she's like, Mary, you're supposed to be helping me, and you're not helping me. What the heck? And Jesus looks at her, and she says, Martha, you're so worried about everything. But truly, there's only one thing you really need to worry about. And at that point, you realize that he was just talking about himself. That God is the only thing we really need to be focused on. In spite of whatever's going on, in spite of our overthinking, in spite of all the craziness and chaos in our lives, Jesus is the focal point. He's the one we just need to have our attention on. And all these worries and all these thoughts of negativity and overthinking start to go away. So guys, I hope this episode helped you and blessed you today. Come back to this whenever you need it. I hope you have a blessed day, and make sure to smile today.